Max, you want to start?
Coach, what are your immediate thoughts after the game?
Mixed. Start of the game, that group, whatever, just forget the basketball. Again, kind of like the Adelaide situation. Anything that was controllable, physical, they smashed us on. And the positive was second half, I found a group of guys that covered that side of it, and now it's a basketball game. So we defended them, we pushed the ball, we moved the ball, we did the things that were hard, and got ourselves back in the game. And then, the points I made to them is things in this new group that we're trying to overcome. When you get under fire like it is now, you're playing really good teams and you're playing for your life. The things that as a staff we're trying to win on that we haven't, you get exposed. And so for me, that group did everything, like a ton of stuff right, but we keep talking about communication. The talk and what we're doing out there, and it's been really difficult for the group. And tonight, lessons learned, and you learn it the hard way, but the back pick at the end of the game for the layup was and I'm not putting it on any one guy. It's just as a group, the staff is trying to get the communication going out there. So hopefully that when you get stung like that and everybody's hurting after the effort that was put in to put ourselves in a position to win from an incredible situation, and to lose like that, and it's one of the major points of emphasis right now coming down the backstretch. So the positive, I think we learned a little bit tonight. Found a group of guys that I'm excited about. I'm excited about Watch. I'm excited about having Boo Qual back. I thought there's some life in Zay. I think that piece is coming back. And then the negative is just, again, I'm thinking of the Adelaide game. You get an atmosphere here. We've worked all this to have home court, and you have 12,000 people here, and we take the crowd out of the game in the first 4 minutes. The first 4 minutes, I feel like everybody wants to go, and this thing can get really, really raucous, really, up and get this thing going. And the first 4 minutes, we are as a group, all of us, we take the crowd out of the game.
There was a bit going on for the club, obviously today with Lamonti Turner not being able to play this season. Do you think that had any effect?
Zero. I mean, it was a bonus plan over here, and was, I think, laid out, I feel like, pretty well to them, that it's just this, hopefully, and this little piece, hopefully, but you guys in our group, nothing changes. So never met, they never crossed paths. We moved on it quickly so it wouldn't affect the group, but I certainly I know those guys weren't sitting around waiting for Boy Wonder to come in and take us to the promised land. That wasn't what it was about. So zero effect as far as I'm concerned on that.
When you see, I think it was a 14-2 run there before the end of the third quarter, and Xavier coming up some big plays, Tui as well, like, when you see moments like that, does it give you the confidence that you don't need that third import, that that's the dressing room to take you all the way this year?
Well, the third import was about, and you look at it tonight, a secondary ball carrier, because really we have our true point guard is Bruce, and J.A.'s a 2-1, and then everybody else is a 2, or so usually you have 3 point guards. And my point on this is just another guy, because this is what's going to happen the rest of the way. They're going to go after J.A. And so that secondary guy running it. Now, tonight it was Bruce, and then we just needed to give him a little bit of rest. But if not, again, I said we have a style of play, and you saw it late in the third quarter, in the fourth, where, multiple guys carried the ball, we didn't run sets, and we put pressure on defensively. So more Boo Qual, more Zay, more that, and less structure.
Gorge, to start the third quarter, we're spruiking these stats like the last 10 times the Kings have trailed at half time, they've won the second half, that you've won 12 of your last 13 fourth quarters, which are great. But are you worried the template seems to be, especially recently, the Kings are not happy to, but allowing the opposition to lead at half time and often lead well, and backing themselves to finish with those stats and win the game? Are you worried that there seems to be a template or a habit forming here for the Kings?
I loved that. I don't like our starting group, or that it's not working. And, I love, like I said, it's not just the comeback, it's the group of guys that I have on the floor. But you're taking some major pieces out when you play that group, and that decision, to win the thing, you're always thinking there's certain battles as a coach you got to win, or you want to win if you got a chance to win a championship. So squashing those guys by benching them and playing that all the way through is a juggle. But I'm getting to the point where, we've got to come in here and we got to start the game with a little tenacity. And I think, as you're saying, that's a consistency, and that consistency is putting us behind the 8 ball and putting us in a position to do that. So, no, I don't like the formula, but I love the group that I have down the backstretch, and I'm wanting very much to get that same intensity with the main guys, because to win the whole thing or to go where you need to go, I think you got to get them rolling as well.
So the bulk of that comeback was without JA. It was a -26 on the night. Without Cam, it was a -17. Do you put serious consideration into making sure that your starting group is full of those guys who are going to do those things that you want, the things that you've gotten with all these comebacks?
I mean, we've had a situation in a roller coaster ride with in trying to get, and I think it's really important, and there's been some good signs with Cam. Tonight was a tough one again, and so we had to go, we fall 20 behind, you had to go small again. But I thought, and maybe what we talked about before about this other piece, is that coming down this backstretch now, what J.A.'s been doing is he's going to get played like this tonight. And I think nobody can do it better than them with Deli and Shea and the people that they have. And I just felt like, as a player, he didn't know where to go tonight. How do I get involved in this game? And so again, that was a big one. That was a big one, and I don't think it's a consistent thing. I think it's here's what you're going to get a dose of, and here's how we've got to try to do it now with the group that we've got. So I'm hoping, and I think JA's been why we're where we are. And tonight was a rough run for him, and I didn't have I didn't have an answer for him. It's just, you got to keep playing defense. You got to keep running the floor. We got to get some stops so we can get you before, like Goulding. Goulding gets going because you can't find him in transition. And, we got nothing for him easy because everybody was kind of in a trance. And then we didn't get any stops, so the defense is set, and the whole defense was built around going after him. So, again, we've got a quick turnaround. This is a first probably for him in the last 3 or 4 weeks, so we have a couple days to get something done before the Cairns game.
During that stretch, when it was that group that was coming back, when you weren't running, it looked like it was Xavier in the half court, basically just being really talented, right, going at their bigs. Do you look at what Xavier did and think, what are some different ways that I could utilize him, especially in the half court, because he is really, really talented?
So he's our their matchup there was difficult, and the way they were playing, they were face guarding. He was like our 2 guard, our secondary ball carrier. So when we fell 20 down, I didn't think he started the game like that. He had opportunities, and then the ball moved out of his hand and got into Jalen's hand. At the end of the game, when you're 20 down, it's like, get the ball to him and we play off him. Set an on ball, create a mismatch, space the floor, get our feet in the paint. The only way we can come back. We're not going to run down, hand the ball, and try to run sets. So having him he's not a 3-point shooter that you bring off screens. He's not a guy you roll the ball into the block to. That's how you play him. How's your best player? How do you best do something for him? You give him room and you bring a mismatch to the on ball and you play off it. And that's what we did from the middle of the third quarter right to the end of the game. You can't have a dose of that for 40 minutes, but it's nice to have when you're 20 down and you're trying to make a comeback.
Is it, I guess, a cause for optimism or frustration that you've been so close to knocking off, Melbourne and Illawarra, who have, been right at the top since the start of the season, but just haven't been able to get over that hump just yet?
I think the frustration part is the same obstacle, and we haven't overcome it yet. And again, that's that flatness. I thought, tonight it was self-induced. I thought Adelaide it was self-induced. The comeback's great, but as you said, it's different if you have a bad one or you're missing shots at the start. I just think we start off the mark, and it's something that I've tried to address and I'm working at. As I said, the captains, but it's not getting beat physically and at the controllables at the start of the game and staying in this thing in the first 6 minutes. And again, I don't know if it's different lineups, starting different groups, but it's a real important. And I know I'm talking but I think it's so basic. It's not like do we run this set or do we do this. It's just bringing more to the first 6 minutes of the game. And I'd love to get the crowd behind us like they are in the fourth quarter, because I feel like they're ready. I mean, we got such a great setup, great situation, great crowd here. And if we got rolling early, I think it'd give us another 10 points.
We called the timeout because of the 11 turnovers in the first half, which is that because you feel the players aren't quite switched on, or do you think it was partly because of Melbourne's defensive application?
I thought we were sloppy and lazy. I really did. Sloppy with the ball. And part of the hardest thing to do offensively is pass and catch. Pass and catch, lead out for the ball, cut, create a lead. Defensively, it's pressure at the ball, getting back on defense, blocking out. Those things were what I'm talking about. And again, it's on the offensive end. I thought it was, they did some pressure and all that. But I thought we were really sloppy with the ball, just stepping up and creating a lead and getting a catch, dropping the ball behind us to somebody that we think's there. I just thought it tied into the whole start of the game. And I keep saying this. I love the group. And the selection of the team, and I say this, was a lot of these guys that have been brought here are really credible in this area. I mean, I love Zay in that area. I love Buqual in that area. We brought Xavier Cooks, who is elite in that area. So I'm looking, Kelly, Tyler, I look at the guys and I go, I don't know where I stir, because it's in them, and I see it on the day-to-day. I love my group. So the answer to all this, there's a bit of frustration there.
Gorge, your 850th game involved with the league tonight. Are you the kind of guy that celebrates that, take a moment, or does it not really matter to you?
I definitely, when it came up, just had a nice little reflection on how fortunate I am and all the good people that I've been around and how great this is right now. And then, excited about the future. You don't want to be looking in the rearview mirror, and that's even tonight. It's the Kansas right around the corner. But there was a little reflection on being fortunate, all the great things that the NBL is, and all the great people that I've been around and been associated, and friendships I've made. Really blessed and really thankful, and really disappointed we lost tonight. I'll remember the 850 for that note.
Anyone on the Zoom? Thank you, Gorge.
Thanks, guys.
Good.
See you Sunday.